welcome you to the September 11th, 2024 City of Springfield License Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. First item on the agenda is an approval of the minutes for the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Commissioners had time to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any changes or corrections to be made?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Next item is a new petition for Amapola Bakery and Bistro LLC, DBA Mojitos Bar and Restaurant located at 497 Belmont Avenue. This is for a change of manager from Jamie Romero Cedeno to Nakisha M. Perez. Attorney Kelly, how are you?
Good. How are you, Madam Chairwoman? Good evening, members of the board. Ms. Perez is also on here as well. This is a change of manager for Mojitos. We talked about it. I think it was the last meeting that we were here on Mojitos. Ms. Perez, as you can see from the application, has been essentially the working there and has been the assistant manager for the last 2 years. This is her only job. She'll hold no other job. This is her full-time employment. Prior to that, she was working in the customer service area, CVS, and dealing with people walking in off the street, much like she will do in this job, and having to deal with all the, intricacies and peculiarities that come with dealing with members of the public. She is tip certified. Everyone over there is tip certified, and I should go into that right now. There are 14 total employees there. There are 6 wait staff. Those are the only people that will ever be touching alcohol. But there's only 3 on any one given night. But there's a total of 6 on the staff. There are 5 security staff members that are also tip certified, and there are 3 relatively new employees in the back making the food. We're getting them up online as tip certified, but they go nowhere near the alcohol, but we're gonna just make sure that they are tip certified. They've only been there for a couple of days and just getting the new menu going as well. So there's that. I've spoken to Ms. Perez. She knows that she'll be responsible whether or not she is present or not, but she will be present. The busier nights, as you may expect, are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those will be she'll be there the other nights as well, but those are the nights that are open, and it tends to be a little later. She'll be there the whole time they're open. Right now, they're not quite doing lunches, although that is the plan to open up backwards. They start at 2 now, but open up a little backwards at 11. The kitchen staff is, like I said, there's only 3 of them. They've only been in there for a short period of time, but that is the hope, to work the food back up. And I think that's essentially the presentation on behalf of Ms. Perez, who's also on the Zoom.
Thank you so much. Ms. Perez, where do you live?
Holyoke.
In Holyoke. And as Attorney Kelly said, this is your full-time job because you don't have another job. Can you run by me the hours again?
For the restaurant?
Yes.
So Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, we're open 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. right now. And then during the week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
11 a.m. to 9. Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't really open at lunches. I was told they were kind of getting there, but it seems like they're there. So that's good.
Right. Thank you. And you do plan on being there for these hours, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you do understand the importance of keeping your tip certification up to date, and same as for every one of the employees that are working for you?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
No. Ms. Perez, you do understand the importance of you being there, and you do understand and take do accept the responsibility that if anything happens while you're there or not there, that you would have to be the one to come in front of this board and answer to the board.
Yes.
And you accept that responsibility?
Yes.
Okay.
And do not hesitate to call the police if there's a disturbance.
Okay.
Right. Very important. Okay, then I make a motion to approve the petition for Amapola Bakery and Bistro LLC, DBA Mojitos Bar and Restaurant located at 497 Belmont Avenue for change of manager from Jamie Romero Cedeno to Nakisha M. Perez.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. I think I'm just letting Paul in right now. I think he's still trying to come in. Well, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we won't see you here again. Okay, next item on the agenda is informational hearing for Blaze Restaurant Inc., DBA Island Blaze Restaurant located at 708 Main Street. Moore Wilson, Mr. Wilson, manager of record, status of when will the establishment be ready to open and other issues.
Good evening again. Mr. Wilson is Guy, who's on iPhone parens 5 there. And Guy, you're going to be speaking in a minute, so you may want to unmute that. You hear me, Guy? Unmute that if you can, okay? So you're going to be speaking in a minute. All right. So this, just to reorient you, if you may remember, you passed a new license in the South End. Took him some time to put it together. He been in front of the neighborhood council a few different times, received their support, was able to procure parking at a lot next door, so most of it will not be on-street parking. And you approved it, and we got, I believe it was in the summer. I don't have the exact date in front of us when he was approved. And given the way that your informational hearing is written, I assume you want to know when you'll be ready to open. So I've spoken to Guy. The construction is taking a little bit longer than he would have liked. This, as you know, is going to be a restaurant, not a bar. They're not going to have any bar service, really. It's just a restaurant. And so he's very particular about putting out any product that is not particularly 100% on, because as you probably know, new restaurants get a couple bad reviews, whether it's the food or whether it's the weight, and that could be a death sentence. So having said that, the project is taking longer than he had hoped. He would have liked to then open by now. He and his family are doing the majority of the work that they can do. And obviously they have to hire some tradesmen, electricians and plumbers and stuff. And I'll turn it over to Guy. I know the appliances are coming in very quickly. And I know the issue right now is they're putting in a new ceiling inside. It's a costly process, and if anyone's ever done any improvement, whether commercial or residential, you'll know that it's always cost more than you think it's going to cost, and it always takes longer than you think it's going to take. That is certainly the case here. But as you might remember from we were here earlier in the spring, earlier this year, Guy's dream is to open a Jamaican restaurant, and he's on the cusp of doing that. He just needs a little more time. I'll turn over to Guy in a second, but I think what we're going to ask you to do, he's going to anticipate opening hopefully in December. And we'd ask for you to put us on for a status hearing in November, and we can update you as to whether or not his product, the interior has come together like he had hoped. I had told you when I was here last time on Guy's restaurant application that he is going to become your favorite Jamaican restaurant in Western Massachusetts, and I stand by that. It's just going to take you a little longer to get your food than we originally had hoped for. With that, I can turn over to Guy if you have any questions particular about, what's taking so long, where are you, what's been done, what has been done. I think Guy is probably best suited to answer those questions, but that's kind of the overview of where we are.
Okay, thank you. Does the commission have any particular questions for Mr. Guy? No. Okay, I think Attorney Kelly did a very good job at explaining what is going on and the hurdles that you are having to, to
Yes,
get
sir.
over. So if the commissioners don't have any questions, I totally understand.
Thank you,
Um,
Commissioner.
Thank you. So what we can do is,
Well, does Guy have anything he wants to tell us that Dan didn't cover, or do you have anything to add to that?
I'd just like to say it's coming on beautifully. Today we did the kitchen floor, and the kitchen ceiling is completed. We primed the room. I ordered all my appliances. one of them came in yesterday. In the front of the house, which is the dining and reception area, all we have left is the drop ceiling, like what we have here, and the flooring, which is going to be vinyl and part will be ceramic tile. So those are the two biggest hurdles. Then we start putting in fixtures, and our furnitures are also being ordered. So I think by November it should have a totally different look from what it is now. We'll be much closer, probably weeks closer to opening.
November 13th?
No, closer in November we should be
Well,
closer to opening. So I'm
that's what-
saying by December 1st, we should be looking at opening dates.
Well,
I was hoping the commission would put this on for not your hectic, crazy last meeting in November, which I think you do all the renewals. I don't want to be on for that, but one of the earlier ones, have been on a couple of those meetings. I don't want to have to be there, but so one of the earlier meetings in November.
I
13th.
think that's what Peter was saying, November
Oh, yeah.
13th.
Then
That was your suggestion, Peter?
Yes.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah,
Okay, so Peter, you wanna go ahead and make
Right.
that motion?
I make a motion to continue this hearing till November 13th. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, we'll see you November 13th,
Good luck.
Thank you, Commissioner.
and good luck.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Next item, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Next item is Select Imports, DBA Select Imports located at 95 Boston Road. Peter Stefoglo, manager of record, no license issued since 2019, and cars are still on the lot. There anybody here for Select Imports? No.
I gave the Zoom link to somebody from building department, but I don't see them in the meeting, so.
I think Maurice, am I correct? Maybe?
Who?
Maurice?
Yeah, Maurice, but I don't see him.
Yeah. I don't see anybody here. Do we want to continue
Well,
this informational hearing? Attorney Bonavita, what do you suggest?
Yeah, just want to add one thing. The building department is really kind of it's connected, but it's not. I mean, it's really their job to enforce any building code problems. They have, and I verified that with our office. There's some tax issues that would have to obviously be paid before any issuance of any license. But my understanding right now is the last license he had was 2019, just to give you some education on it. And it's lapsed, and there was a special permit that's gone unused, so that's lapsed. We're gonna have the next step, maybe frankly, asking the law department to get involved in it.
do you know what they would do?
Beyond me. You know, I was thinking about it. Obviously, they can enforce the building code if there's any violations, but as far as they would have to file a legal action to enforce the cease and desist. And now I don't know if there's any evidence that he's actually selling cars off this lot, or they're just cars seen on the lot. I was hoping he would come in tonight and clear that up. He may have some explanation for it. I don't know, but
Does he need a license in order to sell?
yes.
Yes.
So
He
automobiles,
doesn't have
yes.
one, so
But
if
it
he-
hasn't been renewed since 2019.
the parcel is owned by a brother and sister, and he just leases there. The parcel went into tax title, and somehow he got the foreclosure vacated. It was foreclosed on. The city owned it, and then he vacated the foreclosure somehow, and now the taxes are fairly current. He didn't pay first quarter 2025. The issue is he's come in here. He's been in here many times, and he has unpaid personal property taxes, which are, I believe, what is holding him up. And now the building department has told us that due to lack of use, the special permit has expired and he would have to go back to city council to have a new special permit issued. And before it goes to city council, planning board sends it to me for tax certification. And the tax certification would fail because of the unpaid personal property taxes. So it's kind of like a, you
Yeah.
know, vicious circle. So, and meanwhile, the lot is covered with cars that have been sitting there for at least 5 years. Untouched. So I don't know what happens with the disposition of those cars. It's,
Yeah, I'd have to talk for other people in the law department that would handle the actual litigation. If there would be any to enforce it. I mean, I don't know if there any evidence he's selling cars from that lot or he's just storing car. I have no idea. I know people have driven by and the cars have been moved. They were in kind of the front middle of the lot. This is what I'm told. And now they're on the side of the lot. So I don't know what that means, but I would agree with everything you said.
well, I was there a couple weeks ago at Tony's Pizza right across the street, and it looked to me like there were cars right up to the sidewalk in the front, unless they've
front.
been moved recently, but
Someone else I know drove by maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And
And
they
they
said,
didn't-
yeah, and they said the cars were on the side. So they may
Interesting.
be moving them around. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do we do now? He has no license, so is this a license commission issue?
It may not be at this point. If it goes further, it goes to the law department and then to decide what to do with it. Because it's unlicensed.
Yes.
So there's not a license to terminate. The building department could enforce their building department violations. The special permit, you can't operate without that. I'm gonna talk to the head of the licensing department about it specifically. We were hoping he came in tonight and gave us some explanation.
I do recall him being in Florida and going back and forth, so I don't know whether he's permanently in Florida now or not. Last time he came in, he said he was living in Florida.
Yeah. I'll refer to the law department and see what they want to do with it.
Okay.
If anything they can do at this point.
Building has served him a cease and desist order. I'm not
Yes.
sure what good that does, but
Yeah.
if he's not doing anything there, but
Yeah, that's correct.
yeah, okay, so continue.
Yeah, I would just, one or two things, either if you want to take it off the agenda for now, we can put it back on. If there's something that has to involve the license commission. Or just continue it a couple months
Generally.
on the road and give us a chance to try to figure it out. With the law department.
I make a motion to continue this issue generally.
So we'll take it off the agenda.
Yeah.
We'll put it back on when it's appropriate.
If and when, yeah.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Kane? Commissioner Kane?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
One yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinoza, yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is Black Buddha Associates LLC, DBA The Zone, located at 80 Worthington Street. Pedro Cruzado, manager of record. This is an incident of July 28th, 2024. And this is for a review of security plan and an update on the hookah license or permit.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Pedro Cruzado, who is the manager of record, is on here. I'm gonna let him speak to the hookah part. I don't know where they stand on that. I typically don't get involved in that. If you've read the report, I can maybe summarize it for you if you haven't, but essentially there was an event at the zone. They have a number of security staff there. Due to the fluctuation in security staff, and sometimes, as Mr. Cruzado explained to me, sometimes the police department, sometimes the officers just don't want to take the job. They just don't want to do it. So he hires on a revolving basis a third party security firm. It's called Full Court Press. They're a firm out of New England. They do all the New England states. And you know, you tell them in advance, a couple days in advance, I need 4 people this night, 6 people that night, whatever it be. On that night, they use them typically maybe once a week or a couple times a month. On this particular night, a fight broke out, which is actually not why you're here. The fight was handled appropriately. The first call into the police department, according to the report, is Pedro, the manager of record. The police got there. Things are already broken up. 2 security staff were hurt in the melee. There was a broken bottle and they had glass, you know, issues. One patron had already left, I believe, and had reported to the hospital on his own. While the police were there securing the scene, one of the private security staff had left the area, walked to his car, went into his car, retrieved a handgun and was walking back towards the zone. The police kind of had it walled off. They wouldn't let anybody more in. And he approached the woman who was the police officer who was kind of set sentry there at the edge of the patio and told her, like, you know, I was working security that night. I'm coming back in to talk. And we're not really clear how either she noticed it or he told her. We're not clear. But anyway, she realized he had a handgun. He told her that he was probably licensed. She said, that's fine. I'd feel better if I handled it anyway. Well, I checked your license. He said, okay. He handed it to her. She checked his license. It was expired. And that's, I think, from reading of the police reports, why you're here. I can tell you a couple of things. Number one, he never brought it inside. He wouldn't have been able to bring it inside because before he would have started his shift, he would have had to gone through the wanding and the security settings on the metal detector and would have been wanded and searched. So he wouldn't have been able to bring it in anyway, even if he did have a license. No one is allowed to bring it in, whether they have a license or 10 licenses or not. Only people that can bring in firearms into the club are on-duty police officers. So that's it. So he went after the incident to his car and retrieved it. It never made itself inside. The owner and Mr. Rosado, who is also on here, have made very, very, very clear to the third-party security company that we know they have all their crowd controls and their tips and all that, but just to reiterate, licensed or not, nobody is to bring any weapons into the club at all. And again, just so you know, he would have been caught going through the metal detector had he tried to bring it in on his work shift, but this was after things had ended and he went to his car to retrieve it. That's my understanding, speaking to people involved, as well as reading the couple of reports that was provided to me by the office.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
I might have one, and Mr. Kelly, I don't know if you know this answer or the what. Did anybody bother questioning this individual? Why will you go to your car and retrieve your gun after the fact?
Well, I think he was quickly charged with a crime. I don't think we got a chance to interrogate him. You know what I mean? Once they realized that, I have to check the reports, but once he realized he didn't have a license, he was charged with a crime. So I don't think we got a chance to really interrogate him, from my understanding. I think the police did these. Is that right, Barry? I assume he was arrested on the spot.
He was not. They didn't check his status until they were at the station tagging the firearm. They became aware he was unlicensed. They did a criminal complaint. The reason he gave, the firearm was secured in his car. He was being transported to the hospital and did not want to leave the firearm in his car. So he went to retrieve it. When he came back, the officer obviously saw him and intervened, took the firearm from him, told him it would be tagged. He told them he had an active license to carry. They didn't confirm that at the time. Once they were at the station tagging it, they became aware that his license to carry had expired, and they filed a criminal complaint against him for that.
There you go.
Thank you, Barry. Any other questions?
As far as if I can just add, I talked to Officer DeMar this afternoon. As far as the hookah license issue, it states on the agenda. Evidently, and during that incident, if there was any smoking, it was done outside in open air, on the back a back patio. So there wouldn't be a violation